It's time for connection of the mind, body, and emotions. Welcome to a place where you can unplug, tune in, and create. It's time for Conjuring the Human Spirit with your hosts, Allison Parr-Plasha and Sean McGuire Meeks. You're invited. Let's begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Conjuring the Human Spirit. My name is Sean McGuire Meeks.
I'm Allison Parr-Plasha.
I'm so glad you're sitting with me, Allison, and I'm so glad y'all have decided to join us today. Today we're talking about manifestation.
Yes, and it all started with a sweet story you had shared earlier, which you said was the Erie thing, but I'm from Erie and I don't know.
Well, it's also a boy thing, I think.
It could be.
I mean, maybe not. Girls, don't be mad at me. All you girls who love cars out there, don't be mad at me.
Tell the story.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, 12, 10, 9, whatever. We had, back in the day, we were allowed to go outside. They don't allow kids to go outside anymore.
I don't know.
And everyone's sitting at home playing video games because everyone's afraid their child's going to get snatched.
Yeah.
But back then, they didn't care. And we went out first thing in the morning and played all day and hung out on the streets. And we had our little clan of boys riding our bikes and building tree houses and all of that. And as we were wandering around the streets, there was this thing that we did, and it was called Own It, Claim It, Drive It.
I love this.
Own it, claim it, drive it.
Keep going.
It's so funny because it was your car if you were the one that said own it, claim it, drive it.
So you had to,
first
person to say it.
Yeah, so you say it real fast. Own it, claim, drive it. Because, in Erie, Pennsylvania, back when I was a kid, it was a blue-collar town. I mean, there was not hardly any cars on the road. If you were in Atlanta, you'd be like, own it, claim it, drive it, own it, claim it, drive it, own it, claim it, drive it, But Erie, Pennsylvania, where there's a welding town, you were lucky if you had a car. Mm-hmm. And so to see something fancy, it was a special occasion. So, yeah, that's what you'd say. And there'd be a Trans Am. I don't know if you young people even know what a Trans Am is. But
do they still exist?
A Camaro, a Camaro, which still. Oh, I think they stopped even making the Camaro. But if you'd see it, you'd holler it out, and you would hope to be the first to say it, and then be so proud that was the car you would own, claim, and drive.
So as Sean was sharing this story, I really started to think, that's really like a form of manifestation. Be interested, if you're friends, I know you are, driving the car that you always kind of claimed as a kid.
Yeah, I've driven, as you know, we talked about in a previous episode, I've driven every car from Porsches to BMWs to Range Rovers to now I just want to run over shit in my truck.
You claimed a lot of it, baby.
I did, and gratefully manifested a lot of it. Before we dive into the episode, I want to talk about manifesting. We've manifested some of the most beautiful comments on our Spotify, on our Apple podcasts, on YouTube. You guys are really reaching out, and we really appreciate that. It helps us. It helps guide us on on our conversations that we have. Many of you compare Allison and I to siblings. Mm-hmm. I think we feel the same way as we banter back and forth. We really appreciate all your loves and your likes and your feedback. Some of you are ironing. Some of you are working all day, binging our podcast. Some of you are driving for work. So please, we welcome more of it. It's helpful. It's affirming.
Yeah, we're so grateful.
And it's encouraging to the two of us that we're making an impact in your life and very, very meaningful to us. So I'm so glad that we said that aloud. And in doing that, we manifested that, Allison. That's a lot of what manifesting is about: owning, claiming it, driving it.
Yeah, let's talk more about I'm curious how you define it, because it's a hot word. It has been for quite a while. In fact, just before I came, I tucked the book into my little suitcase. I can't even remember the author's name or the title, except that this book was written in 1923, and it's about manifesting. So I think you just discovered Emmett Fox not that long ago.
Yeah. By the way, I dipped into him. I'm not that.
You're not a fan.
Him. No.
But he was into manifesting.
Yes.
And then I know like I'm a huge fan of like the book Think and Grow Rich, but also I fell in love with a gentleman named Wallace Wattles.
Oh, you told me about
Oh my
him.
God, I love him so much.
Yeah.
And again, he lived in the 20s. So this is nothing new. I think like a lot of things were happening in the 20s. And then unfortunately with, I think the wars and depression, like some of it got lost. So there's people today that think like this idea of manifestation and law of attraction is new. And it's like, no, it's far from new. So, but what is your definition? How do you define it?
How do I define manifestation? It's different. It's interesting on what we decide to manifest, and I think that's dependent upon the times, as you just said. In 1920, the Roaring '20s, 1920. Now we're in 2020. Goodness gracious! 100 years of prosperity, 100 years of manifesting these material things. That book you just mentioned, Think and Grow Rich. I've never read it because I don't even like the title, because I don't really want to think about necessarily manifesting things for money necessarily. I mean, I got a crazy board here in the office that says, that my life is about a deeper meaning, not based on material goods or ego or status, but just to be in service. And maybe I've grown into that. Certainly, when I was a young man, I was empire building and wanting to manifest the fancy cars and those sorts of things, but really realized early on that those things didn't bring me or fill the empty hole that was there. Glad to have them. People got a job one time for the Breitling watch that I manifested. The guy was really impressed by it. So manifestation is really for me around what are we thinking about, and how are we moving our feet. And what is the self-chatter in our minds? And are we even conscious of it? In shamanism, they call it stalking. So we're stalking our mind. It's just another way to talk about mindfulness. It's just what is happening in our minds, because whatever we're talking about or thinking about is what's creating our reality. This isn't woo-woo stuff. This is quantum physics.
Yeah, it is quantum physics. And kind of, again, I think I said this in the last episode, it's like I do see us as magnets, like attracts like. And we were talking about complaining. And I think if there's a chronicity around complaining, like attracts like. And so I just notice people who are more chronic complainers tend to not manifest, like they have a hard time manifesting. But it's tricky, right? Like really tuning into our thoughts and trying to shift them. And sometimes it can be really difficult. But yes, I think it's like Think and Grow Rich. I did like that book. And it wasn't, it was so much more beyond like attracting wealth. It was just like getting into the right mindset in their own words, because it was also written way back in the day, of moving your feet. That like, yes, thinking in the right way, but also then moving into action at the same time. It's not just one thing thinking, it's both.
Yeah, and it's a privilege to be able to think, as we talked about in the last episode, it's a privilege to be able to be in the space of creating, of manifesting, of being in this privileged place where that's all, or not all, but we can take some of our emotional, mental, spiritual energy to focus on those sorts of things, not just surviving, not just paying the electric bill, not just we're tired working 3 jobs, but really consciously being able to focus on what it is that we want in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, I love what you're saying right now, because I do think we have to be in the right space, and it is a place of privilege. And I will say, I was like the manifestation queen before my initiation, and especially like the year before. I had manifested Savannah, the right school for our daughter, a BMW convertible. Like everything was just going so smoothly, and it was very easy to manifest at that time. And then boom, initiation began. And, I'm still kind of in it, just kind of moving out of it. But like if anything, just the negative thoughts and just all the fear-based thoughts, it was just learning how to try to stop them or minimize them. But I definitely was not in a space or in that place of privilege where I was having a hard time manifesting anything. So that's when I really discovered like the power of prayer.
And surrender.
Surrender and also
Acceptance.
Yeah, like, and I mean, I wouldn't say I'm there. Like, it's always a goal, surrender and acceptance. But like, I pray a lot, but I pray to get ahead of the negative thoughts. So the moment like I catch myself in a negative thought pattern, I just start the prayers.
But isn't that also manifesting?
I don't know. I just
Manifesting a new way of thinking, manifesting a way in which we learn about acceptance of what's happening, manifesting a way in which we are just being with what is there, being with it.
yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about it that way.
That's what I'm talking about when we're talking about manifesting. I think most people think about that. I think Think and Grow Rich, that just the topic of the book or the title of the book gets everybody, because we're all thinking about money and money brings us happiness and all of that. And then there's that deeper level of manifestation, that is manifestation of the spirit. When I manifested this farm, and the spirit of things continued to show me through the animals, showed me through things lining up, and just to be in this flow space, this flow.
Yeah, and I love that you're bringing that word up, because I think we know we're in that place of manifestation. Exactly what you're saying. When the flow is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with the prayer at the time being, show me, and it continues to be my prayer, show me so that I know from the core of my being that what I'm doing and who I'm being is what I'm supposed to be doing from the core of it. And also, I ask the universe to show up in ways that's surprising to me so that I know that it's actually listening. So it's manifesting through the frog that we often hear, who's quiet today, but the frog saying, I hear you, I see you. The barn swallows outside saying, let things go. This manifestation on all these different levels.
Yeah.
And then when the prayer is show me, and then we're shown, this broken neck, not broken, but this herniated disc in 6-7 that was so debilitating. I don't want to be shown that, but I said, show me.
Yeah.
So in that, what have I manifested?
Yes.
What have I manifested? That's why I was saying to you around.
Yeah, so it's not always positive.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
But there is learning in it.
Yes.
There is learning.
Yeah.
And the learning to forward the spirit of things, learning to learn how to trust, learning to be with you, the listener out there, who is suffering, so that I have a deeper understanding about the suffering.
Yeah.
That I can be with you in a hug, that I can be with you in just listening, or in my voice, maybe soothing to you, to know that I care.
Yeah.
Because I've been through it, because Allison's been through it. So manifesting on deeper spiritual levels, but manifesting in the car too. I mean, let's keep it real. I had a Porsche, and all of that. It's interesting. When I was doing the School of Lost Borders things and going out west and learning about how to engage with nature in deep, meaningful ways, and sitting with people and listening from my heart ears, and being with mirroring and what it means to really listen to someone and mirror back for them for empowerment, to help them in their own lives, and to just be on a sojourn listening to what the spirit of things had to say. People would approach my husband and they would say, my goodness, Sean, who is this guy? Like, he is so different. I can't believe it. And as his husband, what has been the biggest thing that has changed for him? And he said, he doesn't care anything about material things anymore. When I heard that feedback, because I couldn't see that in myself.
Yeah.
I did notice, but I love Breitling watches and Cartier and fancy cars and houses and jewelry, all of that. And I didn't care about any of it anymore. I hadn't realized that I didn't notice anymore about that. And so that was so when we talk about manifestation and that our thoughts are becoming our reality in our life, and there I am sitting on the ground with people around a fire with a talking piece under the stars, going to bed when the sun goes to bed every night, and sitting with myself with no cell phone in a quiet place, singing songs and being in this grounded place in nature, that was what was most important to me at the time. And because those were my thoughts, that's what I was manifesting. And then out of the blue, while I was in the deep of it, long hair, I had a Volkswagen van, I was hippieing myself around, looking for Allison to partner with me. I didn't know she would be there, but here she is, and we're working together, but feeling so alone in it, and feeling like I had taken it as far as I could. I'd manifested as far as I could, but I couldn't manifest that someone else to sit beside me. And the phone rang, and it was Texas calling, and it was, we want you to be the director of sales for a luxury condominium project in Texas. And so they flew me out there to look at it, but the gist of the story is that I witnessed the spirit of me go from this guy who was sitting on the land to back, I called it my funeral clothes.
Yes.
I would put on these fancy clothes. I was on the 32nd floor, and the walls were glass, and I was looking around, and I thought to myself, I remember, how the heck did I get back here? And here I am. But in that, and doing that, and engaging with that environment and those people, I began to manifest or witness in myself my own thinking shifting. I could see it shifting, just like swaying, just like a large ship making a turn ever so slowly. It was turning back to, and then suddenly now I've got a Range Rover again, and I've got these fancy items, and that's what my focus was, because I was making all that money, hundreds of thousands of dollars selling these condos. And so that was my focus. And so, yeah, definitely our thoughts, I learned in that moment more profoundly, it was guiding me. They were taking me along where I wanted to go.
Yeah, and don't you think it's kind of like...
or didn't want to go, for that matter.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, well, what we focus on is what we create.
Yeah, well, we did that episode on AI being God, and that email that from the universe. And the whole gist of the email is thoughts become things. So think good ones.
Yeah.
Because whatever you're thinking is what you're going to manifest. And so that's why these emails are so good, because they come in every day. You already tell them what you're trying to manifest, and they send these emails with your name in it in support. And so in reading that, it affirms it. And saying it out loud, it affirms it. And the more you affirm it, the more likely you are to manifest it.
Do you ever feel pressure? Because I know I do, around just always carrying like the pure thoughts, the right thoughts, the uplifting thoughts. It can get stressful for me if I'm not thinking that way, or I just think a really weird thought. Like, what if this happens to somebody I love? And then I'm like, oh, you can't think that way.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
the humanness, just being human is stressful. Yeah. When I got sober, I was so draconian about my being. I had structured my life such that I didn't want to think these thoughts, and didn't want to, almost had put myself into this corner. Jeff, my husband, used to say, Sean, you're not the Dalai Lama. You're not the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
And so, I had regulated myself and put all these guardrails up around what I was allowed to think, and how I was allowed to think them, and painted myself into this corner of not being really human or relatable
or like authentic. Because I notice sometimes people who kind of follow like Esther Hicks, like the law of attraction.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit, because you mentioned it in the last episode, and now we're talking about manifestation. So this is a perfect...
So there's teachers out there. So I just remembered the book that I just got in the mail, and it's called, I think, like The Game of Life by Florence Shin, something like that. Again, 1923. But there's a current teacher named Esther Hicks, and she and her husband, are teachers of the law of attraction, and they channel an energy called Abraham. But anyway, I can't remember.
That sounds creepy deepy. Tell me more.
It does sound creepy, except that when you really listen to her, I mean...
Are you listening to her, or are you listening to Abraham?
Well, you're listening to Abraham, she would say.
So let me tell you a little bit about it.
So
this woman, her name's Esther Hicks, and she channels this ancient spirit by the name of Abraham. Abraham speaks through this woman on stage, and they fill coliseums full of people.
Yeah.
And they all follow this, and it really is about our energy vibration and what vibration are we holding. You were talking about in the complaining episode, you were talking about how complaining is this low vibration energy. So we're attracting low vibration things in our life. When we're talking about positive and stepping into a higher vibration, we're attracting more higher vibrational things. And yeah, they've been.
She's solid, man. She's grounded. It's trippy to listen to her because there's no or she's just.
It's a stream of consciousness.
It's a stream of consciousness.
Mic drop every time.
Yeah, I mean, so articulate. I listened to it the whole way here. She doesn't sound this way, but I notice people who really follow the teachings of Abraham, sometimes they can get into, and it just feels really inauthentic. Like, I'm great, and I'm like, I don't know. There's just something that just feels really inauthentic. And it's almost like somebody trying too hard.
Well, we're going to do an episode on motives and intentions.
Yeah.
And that's a good, it's interesting you say that, because our motives and intentions, when they're talking about Abraham, we're talking about vibrational being. We're talking about it emanating from that sacral space, from the real place within us. It's not a positive thinking type of thing. It really is a conjuring it up from the spirit of us.
Yeah.
In this real way.
And it's authentic thinking. I mean, she will say, like, sometimes we're in this place of dissatisfaction, and can you move almost like she has like this kind of litany of words, but can you shift your anger to frustration so she personally, or just Abraham, doesn't feel inauthentic. It does feel
No,
authentic.
you were saying there were people that were trying to
Yeah.
that were following the teachings
Yeah,
that felt
just-
inauthentic.
yes.
What I was saying was this what was their motives and intentions.
Yeah.
They were doing the best they could, but
Yeah.
really all of it bubbles up from this mystery.
Yes.
It doesn't really, we're not thinking our way necessarily into it. We're really living into this mystery. Mm-hmm. And it's in quantum physics, which also, all these teachings now with science is becoming, science is revealing
Yeah.
that these teachings have always been true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can put whatever name you want on it, but, if you want to lay hands on something, and you want to, with intention and motive, proper intention and motive, we're going to pray. Mm-hmm. We're going to pray. When we're praying, we're shifting our thinking into this, into abundance, into healing. And when that place is brought from this place within us that is the most real, authentic place, which Dr. Dispenza talks about in his latest, well, not his latest book, but in his book, what is it?
Is it Becoming Superhuman?
Becoming Superhuman. These places, the Buddha sitting under the tree, becoming enlightened, Jesus and his journey. And, these are places where there's very few distractions, very few, there's really this corralling of this energy that's done in a perfect way in which it does manifest through even science. One can argue now in quantum physics. Dr. Dispenza talks about our brain waves and getting them to a certain place where we are teaching our body how to heal.
Yeah.
And, when I read the book, it's very reminiscent of a lot of things I've read over the years. Mm-hmm. It's just, how do we get so privileged to be in this place that we can make our lives void of all these distractions such that we can manifest a healing in our own life.
Yeah.
And then when and if we're unable to do that, what shame do we have?
Well, yeah, I'm so glad you're bringing that up, because I think there's shame. Like, so I can get into, because they would say I manifested my initiation and this journey I'm on. And I'm like, okay, so what were the thoughts that I was carrying around that caused it, or I can't get out of it, or I'm still not where I want to be? It can be very, for me, it can be very shaming.
Yeah, I
had
done?
to do a big step away, actually, for about 2 years now. I haven't, like looked at it at all, anything around law of attraction or manifestation.
Yeah, and when I was going through it, I couldn't read those bubbly emails from the universe every morning.
Yeah.
They didn't make any sense. It was kind of like, yeah, well, you're not going through it.
Exactly.
So you don't get it. Oh, yeah, bubbly universe.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going through it.
Yeah.
This isn't working for me now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always talking about this privileged
Yes.
to be able to be thinking about these things, privileged to be able to manifest a healing.
Yeah.
Privileged to be able to be in relationship with the spirit of me, with the spirit of things, with the spirit of my fellow, so that I can manifest these wonderful, wonderful things.
Yeah, and it's like, so much of it, they all say the same thing about meditation. When you look at any of these teachers, it's all about like the end all be all is meditation. But for the past couple of years, I haven't been able to meditate. My mind's been too busy. It's been frantic. It's been, it actually just backfires. And so I feel like I'm almost there.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm just say it's okay.
yeah,
It's
right?
okay. You
yeah.
know, same with me. I'm not, people who know me think, or people who think they know me think that I sit and meditate for hours each day and that I'm a vegan and all. No, I'm doing the best I can. I'm a wounded healer using the tools I've been given to get through, sometimes moment by moment, and sometimes profoundly changed by one teaching. It doesn't, but I'm doing the best I can. And when I can muster up, and I just started the Calm app, and just to take 7 minutes, I got 7 minutes. Sean, you have 7 minutes
Yeah.
to be with your breath.
Yeah.
It's a struggle for me, but I'm doing it. And I feel better.
Yeah.
I do feel better. And so, but there's growth for me. There's always room for growth. I'm not doing it. And maybe that's the key that will unlock what's the next of the, but I've been 55 years of looking and finding keys. So, and that's just another one.
Yeah. And there's so many different ways. But like, I used to be a deep meditator, and it was great when things were going great. But it's just, I feel like things have been chaotic. So it's been hard to kind of find my place into that. So I just kind of want to affirm everybody out there that is like, okay, I'm not in that place and space right now to manifest. We can also start off small of like maybe what's one positive. Like there's something called the GLAD technique, but it's like, what am I grateful for?
Oh, I love that. You shared that with me. Go.
I love it. Like, what am I grateful for? What did I learn today? What did I accomplish today? And I forget what the D is right now. But anyway,
I wrote it down. Goodness, I want to know.
It's online. Just look up the GLAD technique.
Yeah, it was real resonant for me. What did I G?
What am I grateful for?
What am I grateful for? What did I L?
Learn.
What did I A?
Accomplish.
And what did I D?
Yeah, I don't remember the D.
I love it. It is small things, but again, it's doing something different that you hadn't done before. And it's, as I said, living into the mystery of things. So thoughts become things, think good ones. And in addition to that, they say, let go of the hows. How am I going to do it? Don't worry about how. Don't worry about that. Just what is it that you want? And move your feet in that direction. And then it will unfold. It will continue to unfold. Let go of the how. How is it going to happen? It will just continue to unfold.
So, but I'd like to tie this into like the idea of God's will. Because it's a tricky thing, like manifestation in God's will. Like sometimes we're not meant to have something we so desperately want to manifest because that's God's will.
Yeah, I remember when I got sober, and step 3 was, to turn my will and my life over to the God as I understood Him. I was really concerned about that very question. What if God's will isn't what my will is?
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, that's more where the living into the mystery of things.
Yeah.
And like you said, leaning into instead of away from.
Yeah.
Saying yes when opportunities present themselves. God's will manifesting itself. As long as I'm sober, life is so much better. But
yeah.
Being resonant. Even when I started coaching school and they said the resonance, I didn't even know what that meant. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. And resonance really is how to feel it in my body. Does it have this, my body start humming when I'm talking about this?
It's kind of like that vibrational alignment, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that's where the magic is. And when in coaching school, they taught us how to do that, to build the resonance in you, to build the resonance in me. And when I'm in that place, that's the place of manifestation. They also have said when you're moving your body, so having something in your ears while you're on the treadmill, I am life, I am love, I am powerful, I am moving into this place of whatever, a recording that's affirming you in a way. So you're not only is it happening in your head, but your body's in action. So you've got this energy moving. So it's like a double whammy. You get both. You get this energy building in it. And so that's some tricks, that might forward the motion.
Yeah, it's just I'm a little stuck on this idea around God's will. So there's a woman I love. Are you familiar with Tosha Silver?
I'm not.
Oh my gosh. I want to send you her book. She's got a great book out there called Change Me Prayers. And she's a yogi, was raised Jewish. And I feel like, though, like speaking of resonance, like what she says just really resonates with me. But it's more rather than like, I want a Corvette. It's more like, God, if it's your will, for me to have a Corvette, please show me a sign and kind of pave the way. But it's more,
I hate when we take spiritual things and make them into luxury items.
Well, she doesn't say this kind of stuff.
You know what I mean?
But it's not like I'm just kind of using that as an example from me. She's not that person. She's not talking
But The
about.
Secret did that, that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, by the way, Esther Hicks, it's a lot about that.
It is.
And it starts to feel, actually, Tosha Silver is not a huge fan of the idea of law of attraction manifestation to a point, but she's also like, there's like God's will, like in this space. But she doesn't name it God's will. She uses more like yogic terminology.
I'm reminded of my own life in that all the successes I've had and all the places I've been, and no matter where I did what and what I've done and how much success I've had, when I got there, I still didn't feel like I got there.
Yeah.
And so these were all, and I've learned that these were all creations of my own mind. We talk about God's will, but they're also constructs of our societal upbringing, our domestication, what they say we think should be important to us. And so we kind of follow that road, we're no longer are we, going to church on, not everybody. I know some of you are still going to church on Wednesdays and Sundays and strict and abiding by, but as we said in a previous episode, a lot of people are just nuns.
Yeah.
And so if you're no religious affiliation, what is your guidepost? What are you being guided by? And you've got all this, Gucci and Prada and this and that. And so these are the goals. And so these are the ways in which we steer ourselves. But I can assure you, I've been to all those places, and you get to the end and there's nothing there but a brand.
Yeah. And I think in some ways it can be like a little bit of a practice. Like, okay, I manifested this car. How can I take it to the next level? And like you said, you went from being somebody who was materialistic to somebody who's not materialistic.
Didn't do that intentionally, though.
Okay.
It just happened.
Yeah.
It just happened, and I didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah.
I had no idea. This wasn't, I'm going to be the spiritual guy. It was just like, whoa, now I don't care about material things anymore. Whoa, now I'm back on the 32nd floor selling $1 million condominiums, and suddenly I want a Range Rover again. And that was as real as not caring about material things anymore, but it wasn't a choice.
Yeah.
It wasn't a choice. And so I'm suggesting, where are we? In the barn here, I have a full gym. And on the mirror in the barn, it says, energy flows where your attention goes. And that is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where is our attention? And, to your point, when we talk about suffering and changing these thoughts of suffering, knowing that suffering begets suffering,
Yes.
which is exactly what Dr. Dispenza says in Being Supernatural. If we wake up in the morning and it's Groundhog Day, and we're saying again, I'm suffering. That's the first thought. We grab our device, we look at our device, what's happening in the world, suffering. We grab our social media, suffering. And this is what we're seeing, and that's what we're manifesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So,
And so it's like also like when we recognize it, knowledge is power, and then can we shift it?
Yeah.
You know?
And so this beautiful book that you were just talking about, she was talking about God's will.
Yes. And
God's
she doesn't
will.
use like the terminology God's will.
Oh, okay.
She uses, I don't know, more like spirit or source. Because again, she's more of like a yogi. But again, it's more though putting it into the hands of the creator, because we can get frustrated.
So we do this unconsciously. We do this thinking, we do this being, we do this incessant thinking and being unconsciously. But we can also choose to do it consciously.
Yes.
There's another beautiful book by Shiitake Gwain,
Oh yeah.
and it's from the 90s or even before, and it's called Creative Visualization. And it was transformational in my life in the 90s about, I didn't realize that with my thoughts, I actually have control. But first, as I said in a former episode, I first had to work on loving myself.
Yeah.
That was first, and that was Louise Hay.
Yep.
And You Can Heal Your Life. So again, with intentional wanting to heal, recognizing thought patterns so that I can manifest a life that is love, and manifest a life in which I look in the mirror and what's reflected back at me is an honorable man, not someone who's a sinner and broken and going to hell and all the things that I was told I was from everyone,
Yeah.
So really, and then in that, embodying it and believing it from the core of me, so that when those things are bubbling up in me, they're not just from the mind, as you said, some of these people who follow Abraham and Esther are, but they're coming up from the core of my being, and therefore really tapping into the flow, into the magic,
Yeah. The human spirit.
into the human spirit.
Yeah. Really, it comes down to
It really does.
It
Really does. And I think, too, not trying to really have a deep understanding with the mind on how it works. We're sitting here in my office, and we were talking about a couple vision boards I have on the wall. And if you don't know what a vision board is, it is similar to what we're talking about. I have hundreds of magazines that I throw out on the floor. I have a vision board workshop, for example, and you will come, or someone, I just had one 3 years ago, and in Atlanta, and people came, and you really cross a threshold when you come into my workshop. We're leaving all of doubt and lack and all of that behind. We're going to cross over this threshold into this place of possibility. And when you're going through these magazines, you're looking for words, you're looking for images, you're looking for things you aspire to be, look like, attain, ways of being, material things or otherwise. There's no judgment about it. It's just you're not using your brain. You're seeing it and you're cutting it out of a magazine and you're gluing it on the board. Cutting it out of a magazine and gluing it on the board. And then once the time is over, then you reflect on, then you kind of take a conscious look. What is here? What is it? And why is it here? And oh my goodness, why did I put that there? Whatever. And then when you're done, you put it in a prominent place in your home and somewhere that you're walking by all the time. And it's always being reflected back at you. The subconscious way in which you cut these things out without using your mind is being reflected back at you.
Like when I've done it, so I do it, like I've done it a little bit differently. I've done it exactly as you're talking about, but I've also for a while just had a manifestation box, like this beautiful box. And I just remember when I'm doing this, like you're saying, like try not to think, just don't even overthink it. And so I ended up with all these images and words. I put them in a box, but I didn't leave it in the box. Like I would pull it out. Like I have a prayer box right now, and I try to pull it out every morning. So this, like I would pull out every once in a while, but like sometimes I'd forget about it for like months at a time. But when I went back, I remember the last time I did it, I was like, oh my Lord, everything came true.
Yeah.
Like our daughter, we manifested her. Like by the time we were able to bring her home from Ethiopia, she was 5 months old. And at that point, we weren't even thinking about adopting again.
But what was in your box?
Was just,
Tell me more. What was in the box?
It was like a darker skinned, sweet little baby with a diaper that looked like they were about 5 months old.
Shut your face.
No.
I live.
Yeah. So it's like, and Sean, I was just asking him before the episode, I was like, okay, so which one is your vision board? Because there's two. One belongs to his husband. I kind of suspected it was the second one.
Yeah,
And
but
I wasn't right, but I just said, I was
I
like,
know. Well, let me talk about my own vision board.
no.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've had many vision boards. This is not the only one, and I've got many that are still sitting in closets. And what she says is that things come true. They came true for her in her vision box, and they come true for me on my vision boards, which is why I do them, which is why I share this practice with you. And I would encourage you to do it. And when you do it, you put it in a prominent place. And what happens is that it's the universe, God, she is recognizing what it is that you want. And she's saying, I see you, and we're going to live in the mystery, and you're not even going to know that things are happening because you're so busy in your crazy life that when you take a look at your life and look back at this board, you're going to see that I've been listening to you. And it's the craziest thing because the board she's talking about, and thank you for letting me lovingly interrupt you, is my vision board.
I know, but I have to say, I'm going to interject
All right,
now
go.
because I'm like, okay, so Sean, like, when did you do your vision board? And he's like, when I was still living in Atlanta. I'm like, well, it says farmer on there.
And where is it? On the vision board?
It's like in the center. and I'm like, does that say podcast? But anyway, but like he's a farmer. I mean, a gentleman farmer now, but like this idea of him being a farmer was not even in his
It blows my mind.
So it's like pretty trippy.
When you come here to the farm, you'll see it on the wall here in the front room.
Yeah.
And as you look, there in one corner, it says a lavish retreat. I've got a lavish retreat.
He does. And you have money on there, by the way.
There's all kinds of stuff on there,
Joy.
Yeah.
To lead. Yeah. So it's like, actually, you're inspiring me now just through this conversation. I haven't done a vision board in years. And I think it's time to create. But it's kind of like, are we co-creating with a higher power?
Intentionally.
Is this kind of like we're tapping into our future on some unconscious level?
Yeah.
Is this God's will? Well, it is God's will if it happens, in my opinion.
I think she knows exactly what she's doing. And for all of you addicts that are out there and alcoholics that have tuned in because you know and resonate with my struggle, I want to remind you that if you wanted a drink and you didn't have any money, you would manifest it. If you wanted drugs and you didn't have any money, you would manifest it. And through your addiction and through your alcoholism, you became expert sorcerers.
Yes, you're right.
Expert
You are right.
manifestors.
Yep.
And so you already know how to do this.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of shifting that way in which you've cultivated into a way that serves you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love this conversation because, when I think of manifestation, I tend to think more in the positive stuff. But we can manifest the not so fun stuff. And
So funny you said that because my next note is be careful what you wish for.
Right? And I just felt like I was manifesting more recently, just like some not so fun stuff. And I'm like, all right, it's time to make a shift because that's where we take personal responsibility.
And again, Allison, I'm really glad that you're feeling better enough that you can do that.
Yeah, I'm very grateful.
And I want to honor that you've not been feeling well.
Yeah.
And there was this woman who said to me, she was from high school, and she reached out to me when she found out about my herniation. She said, for so many people, it's so hard to recover from such intense pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, whatever, girl, I'm good. Whatever. And this was about 6 months in when I was having a good day.
Yeah.
And then there's a bad day and a bad day and a bad day,
Yeah.
So I just want to celebrate you, celebrate your continued health and wellness and your ability to consciously step into these places and making decisions to be in this positive space.
Yeah.
That you can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that. You're not standing in my labyrinth anymore saying, I can't access joy.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying, I claim it.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yes.
Claim it.
Yeah.
Drive it.
Definitely, baby.
Yeah. So what out there are you owning and claiming and driving? And how are you manifesting your life? Are you manifesting good stuff? Are you manifesting bad stuff? Are you in a place where you just are suffering and you can't manifest? I want you to know you're not alone. And this too shall pass.
Yes.
And we've been through it, and we're getting through it. And the dragonfly matters to me today. And you can access joy over there and choose better thoughts. And so try vision boarding. Try reading that book, Shiitake Gwain. A good movie is The Secret. It's really good. Some people pan it, but it's a really good movie. Another one is What the Bleep Do We Know?
I love that. We've never talked about that.
That's a whole
I
episode,
love
really.
that.
What a great movie.
You know, years ago, what I learned in the rooms of Al-Anon, that's also spoken in the rooms of AA, of like, take what you need and leave the rest.
Yes.
I love that. That changed my life.
Yeah.
I would put things down because I'm like, I don't agree, and I'm like,
agree.
okay,
Yeah.
there's some good stuff in here. Can you read in between the lines? And so there's also, I think, another way of just manifesting is like, what's one small thing that might make you feel better? Is it going to the store and getting like a special ice cream cone? Is it watching? I mean, I will tell you, through my journey, I have binge watched a lot of shows. Something I've never done in the past, hopefully something I won't be doing that much in the future. But like, that's kind of what was bringing me joy in those moments. So it can be small, changing up shampoo, ordering takeout. It doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening today. And we are so glad that we have co-created a beautiful manifestation being with you. And we're really excited to share our next episode with you on teaching people how to treat you.
Oh, because we do, believe it.
Absolutely.
The good, the bad,
Yes.
and the ugly.
Yes. So we look forward to sharing more with you next week.
See you next week.
Have a beautiful week.
Big hug, Joel.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to Conjuring the Human Spirit. You can connect with us and even make plans to work one-on-one with Sean at McGuireLife.com and with Allison at viespritcoaching.com. That's VIEESPRIT coaching.com, or tap the links provided in the description of this episode. Until next time, remember, you're not alone.